Hello everybody, and welcome back to Advanced Composition. My name is Joe Teacher. As you know, today I'm going to be going over the second section here of our class, Introduction to Paragraphs. You can see the presentation is here on the class website at joeteacher.org. In addition, some of the resources that I showed you yesterday, the Purdue Online Writing Lab, OWL, Grammarly, some of them, I'm going to put up Open Office, but I keep forgetting to do that. I'll try to remember to do that today. This information is also up in the course lecture contents here on the LMS system. Yesterday, the video lecture from Class 1, the course introduction from presentation from that video, link to the teacher website, and link to OpenOffice is on here, and Grammarly. So I would recommend that you install both of those. You may not need OpenOffice if you have Microsoft Windows. If you have Microsoft Office, rather, then you probably don't need OpenOffice, but if you do need it, then you can download it here. Let's go back briefly to the homework, just to review, because you're going to need to complete this homework before you move on to today's assignment. So if you haven't done this yet, you need to make sure that you sign up for your Gmail account and set up your Google Drive class folder. Share it with me and with your other group members. The instructions for how to do that and the demonstration for how to do that is at the end of the first video. So make sure that you've completed that. Also, group captains should contact their group members and set up the Kakao Talk group for your team. Add me to your group. My Kakao Talk ID is Joe Carrier. So you're going to need to do both of those things to complete the assignments that I'm going to give you at the end of the presentation today. So please make sure that you've done that before you begin today. So if you haven't, go ahead and pause the video and do that first. The presentation for today's video is going to be here. The video is already up here, even though I'm recording it now. I'm actually re-recording this because there were some technical issues with the first recording, so I'm going to delete this one and put in a different one. Also, there's a sample essay that I'm going to be referring to in today's lecture, and we're going to be looking at this quite a bit. I would recommend, if possible, that you print this out just so that you can have it as a reference, because we're going to be coming back to this sample essay again and again as we model the different parts of the paragraph and the different parts of the essay when we come to essay organization. So this is going to be a pretty important document for you to keep on hand, and if you have a printer or a way to print it, it'd probably be a good idea to do it. If not, download it and put it on your phone or whatever. And this is a mind mapping worksheet. I'm going to give you a mind mapping assignment today. This is optional. If you don't have a way to print it, it's fine. You can just, draw circles on a piece of paper, basically, is all it is. But this is here if you need it. You can print this if you want to, if you have a way to print it easily. That said, let's go ahead and begin talking about today's lecture, which is Introduction to Paragraphs. This lecture is actually going to be a pretty important part of our class together. Everything that we're going to do in this class really starts with and pretty much ends too with the construction of logical, reasoned writing. I tell my students all the time, this isn't really a writing class, this is really a thinking class. Most of the activity that goes into writing is coming up with ideas, supporting ideas, good writing topics. Certainly grammar and vocabulary and sentence structure, all of these things also are a part of good writing, and we're also going to focus on that. But the majority of this class is focused on a skill that is called rhetoric. And I kind of talked a little bit about this yesterday when I talked about the different types of examples that we can use in our writing to prove that what we are saying is true. I talked about sensory details, the details that come from our physical interactions with the world around us, the things that we see, the things that we hear, the things that we taste, the things that we smell, the things that we feel with through our skin. All of these experiences give us information into our mind, and we can use that information to share experiences with other people. And I'm going to be giving you some good examples of how to do that in your writing today. The second area of examples that I talked about were anecdotal details. Another way that humans experience the world is through our emotions, through our mental experiences as we go through life. A lot of these have to do with our social interactions, but not always. We can also have profound emotional experiences just by spending time in nature, for example, or doing some exciting activity. So these things we might call feelings are also an important type of example, because somebody else has also felt afraid like you have. Somebody else has also felt love for another person like you have. So when we write about this thing, we're kind of tapping into that experience of what it really means to be human. So this is an important part of human experience, and we can use that shared experience, those shared feelings that we all have, to convince the reader that what we are saying is true. And again, that's always our goal, is to make the reader believe that what we are writing is true and valid and important. The third way that we experience the world is using our mind, using what we might call logic. And in order to convince somebody using logic, we need facts. We need those numbers. We need data. And so we can find good sources of data, trustworthy sources of data, and we can use this to convince people that what we're saying is true. So throughout this writing class, we're going to again and again and again be coming back to those three types of information that we can use to prove to the reader that what we're saying is true. And we're going to begin today by looking at the building blocks of language within rhetoric. There are three different types of paragraphs in an essay: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. In this class, we're going to eventually be learning to write what is called a 5-paragraph essay. This will contain each of these parts. Now, as you become, we're just basically learning a formula here. Later, when you become an accomplished and experienced writer, you're probably not going to write 5-paragraph essays. Okay, but this is a good way to learn the building blocks of language that we need to present our ideas in a very clear and organized way, so that the reader can understand what we're seeing, can see how the information is organized very simply, and to present the information in the most rational way possible, so that what we want to tell the person is simple. We don't want to waste the reader's time. If a reader feels like you're wasting their time, if what you're writing isn't true, or if your writing is poor, if you have a lot of mistakes, or if your writing isn't organized well, the reader will simply quit reading, especially in this day when most of what people read is presented over the internet. Everybody has their finger on the mouse. Everybody's ready to make that mouse click. So we have to make sure that what we're writing is compelling, it's accurate, it's clear, and it's well organized. And writing an essay is just one way to do that. So we're going to begin by looking closely at the body paragraph. This is the section that we're going to begin with. But before we start that, I'd like you to kind of put that into context by looking at the entire essay here. You can see in this 5-paragraph essay, the title is Cats Make Great Pets. Okay, and the first paragraph is the introduction. Begins with a quotation, a dog is a man's best friend. So this essay that is about cats begins with a quote about a dog. So that's what's kind of a strange and unique strategy. The last sentence of the introduction is called the thesis statement. And the thesis statement states what the entire essay is about. And this one says, despite what dog lovers may believe, cats make excellent house pets, as they are good companions, they are civilized members of the household, and they are easy to care for. So we see here the thesis statement contains the topic of the essay, which is cats. The essay is about cats. It contains a statement of purpose, which is cats make excellent pets. Very simple. And then it contains this thesis. Not all thesis statements do this, but this thesis statement contains a simple outline for the essay. It says, why are they good house pets? Because they're good companions, they're civilized, and they're easy to care for. Each of the body paragraphs takes one of those points and makes it create some proof for those points. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the first body paragraph here pretty closely. If you look up here, you'll see cats are good companions. So this is reiterated or restated in the first sentence of the body paragraph here. In the first place, people enjoy the companionships. The rest of the body paragraph goes on to explain why cats are good companions. Okay? So this is the way that the essay is set up. It has body paragraphs, it has an introduction, and it has a conclusion paragraph. Don't worry about the introduction or the conclusion right now. What I want to focus on for the first part of this class, probably for the first 4 to 6 weeks, we're going to be focusing on writing good paragraphs. If you can write a good paragraph, the rest of the essay is easy. This is the hardest part of the thing. So we're going to begin with the most difficult part, and then the rest of it's pretty simple. Okay, we're going to come back to that paragraph in a minute, but first I want to talk about the 3 main parts of a body paragraph. The topic sentence is the first sentence in the paragraph, the supporting detail sentences, and the conclusion sentence. Okay, so we're going to talk about each of those different parts, and we're going to learn how to write those and why those are all important. So again, this lecture today is very, very important. Everything we're going to be doing throughout this class is outlined in this lecture today. So please eliminate distractions. Give me your attention for the next few minutes as we go through this, because this is very, very important. The first thing I want to talk about is the topic sentence. What is a topic sentence? As we go through this today, we're going to be looking at the different parts, how they work. Every sentence in an essay is very important. Every sentence in a paragraph is important. Every sentence has an important job to do. So as you're going through this, you should listen for what is the job of each sentence. There's not one wasted word in a well-written paragraph. There's no filler. In fact, a lot of what we do when we're editing is we're cutting out what is unnecessary. We want to have exactly the only words that are necessary. So what is a good topic sentence? A topic sentence tells the reader the main idea of the paragraph, plus it is a one-sentence summary of the entire paragraph. The other sentences support the topic sentence. The topic sentence contains two parts. The main idea. This tells us what is the paragraph about, and the controlling idea. It tells us what are we going to say about the main idea. What are we going to say about it? So, the 5 features of a good topic sentence. It should guide the whole paragraph. It should not be a well-known fact. It needs to be specific, but it can't be too specific. It needs to be a paragraph-sized topic. If it's too specific, it may just need to be a sentence in a paragraph. If it's not specific enough, it may be a topic that's too big for a paragraph that needs to be expanded into an essay. And it must contain a controlling idea. The controlling idea is, what are we going to say about the topic? So let's look at the example here in our sample paragraph. In the first place, people enjoy the companionship of cats. There we go. That's it. That's the topic sentence. So what is companionship when we talk about companionship? A companion is a friend, someone who helps us to not feel lonely. And certainly I have experienced this myself. In my, since we've had this coronavirus, I've been spending a lot of time at home. For one thing, I was trying to self-quarantine because I had been in Thailand, and we were instructed at the airport to spend 2 weeks away from other people, and so I've done that. I'm not sick. I didn't catch it in Thailand, but I came back here, and I'm trying not to catch it here too. So I've been spending a lot of time alone at home, and my cat Zuli, has certainly been a great comfort to me as I have been spending time alone. You might hear some background noise. I am in the beautiful iFactory PC Bong here in Guang'an Beach, where I live. And there are other people here, and they're having fun. So if you hear something in the background, don't worry. That's just the other people here playing. And I'm happy that they're having fun and that they are screaming in frustration. So if you hear any sounds, don't worry about it. That's just people here playing. It looks like they are killing dragons. I don't know what they're playing, but there seems to be a lot of dragons and monsters and sword fights, and it doesn't look fun to me at all, but they appear to be enjoying themselves. So continuing on, we've seen here the topic sentence. People enjoy the companionship of cats. Is this true? We need to write some sentences in this paragraph that are going to explain why. We can ask questions like why? Why do people enjoy the companionship of cats? To think of some reasons. Maybe you can think of some reasons. I'm sure you can read here what some of the reasons this writer has come up with. We're going to look at these in a minute when we talk about supporting sentences. The other thing I want to point out here is that as a part of this essay, this first body paragraph has a place marker. It says, in the first place. This means the first reason. Okay, and if you remember the thesis statement for this essay, it was, cats make good pets. So the topic sentence is supporting the thesis statement. We're hearing here now one reason why cats make good pets. This is the first body paragraph of the essay. The answer is, why do cats make good pets? Well, because cats offer companionships to humans. Pretty simple, right? We can see this topic sentence supporting the thesis statement. The supporting sentences are going to support the topic sentence. And all of this leads to a very strong, logical argument that your reader can believe. So let's talk a little bit about supporting sentences. What are these? Supporting sentences describe, explain, clarify, or give examples of the main idea in the topic sentence. They can describe what you're talking about. They can explain, clarify, give examples. So they might, if they're a descriptive essay, you might answer, what is it? Okay, I'm going to give you a writing assignment today, and you might ask a question for your supporting details. What are those things? What are they? If I talk to you about delicious food, what are some delicious foods? If I talk about some fun things to see or do in a city, what are those fun things, activities that you could see or do? If I say to you a place is very beautiful, the landscape is very beautiful, what are those things that we could use to describe that place that would make the reader say, yes, you're right, that place is beautiful? We could offer explanations in the supporting sentences. We could explain something that is confusing or might be difficult for a reader to understand. Most often we're giving examples, and that's what we're going to be doing in the sample paragraph that we're going to be looking at today. Supporting sentences answer questions. Who, what, where, when, why, how. Supporting sentences explain the topic sentence in greater detail and give the reader more information. So as you're writing, you're always thinking, how can I make the reader believe that what the topic sentence is saying is true? How can I make the reader believe that what I'm saying in the topic sentence of this paragraph are true? So, supporting detail sentences, what do they do? Supporting details give some factual proof, tell a story, or present some information that prove what you are saying is true. Look at this sculpture, Broken Chair by Daniel Burset. What would happen if you sat down in a chair like that? Well, you would fall down. You'd bust your ass. You'd probably break your arm, okay? And only a giant could sit in a chair that size. Not even Joe Teacher is tall enough. If your paragraph does not have good examples, it will not support your argument. So these examples and the details that we provide in the supporting sentence are the most important part of the essay. I'm going to say that again. The supporting sentences and the supporting details that you provide to your reader are the most important part of the essay. If you do not have effective supporting sentences and good details that convince the reader that what you're saying true, at the bottom level, your essay is going to fail. You're going to fail in your purpose. Your purpose is to convince the reader that you know what you're talking about. So let's look again at our example paragraph. Many cats are affectionate. This is our first supporting sentence. Then we have two sentences that provide some detailed information, some examples, some details and examples. And in the first example, to say what these actions are, the reader has said the writer has written, they will snuggle up and ask to be petted or scratched under the chin. Who can resist a purring cat? I think these are excellent examples. And the writer has obviously thought about this word affectionate. What does affectionate mean? Affectionate means a physical display of love. A physical display of love. Tender feelings are often displayed through some physical action. If you see a mother with a child, she will often be holding or carrying the child close to her body. If you see a boyfriend and a girlfriend together, they may be holding hands or sitting close as they can together. These are signs of affection, this physical display. without saying words, just with your body language, saying to somebody, I care about you. You are important to me. I like you, whatever. Now, look at what the writer has done here. They've given us some examples, some detailed examples that are actions. These are verbs. To snuggle, what does that mean? It means to come and get really, really, really close. Petted, it's an action. It's a way to show that you care about the cats. Cats love to be petted and scratched. And then they have this unique verb that only applies to cats, which is purring. When cats are happy, they make this sound. It's almost not even a sound, it's more like a vibration. My cat does this when I pet her. It makes me want to pet her more. I always love it when she's close to me and she's purring. That means that she's happy. That makes me happy. That's a really good example of the companionship of cats, this affection that they show for humans. Let's move on to the second one. If they're not feeling affectionate, cats are generally playful. We're sticking here with adjectives. The first supporting sentence use the adjective affectionate. It's a very simple. Cats are affectionate. It says many cats are affectionate. Not all cats are affectionate. Some cats are not affectionate, but most cats are affectionate. Noun, the verb to be, adjective. And then we have here, cats are generally quite playful. Got a couple of adverbs in there, but it's the same thing. Cats are playful. Noun, verb, adjective. Very simple construction. These supporting sentences don't need to be complicated. Okay? Now, let's look at the detail sentences. In this case, as the writer was thinking about what am I going to write here that show cats are playful, they thought of an excellent way to do it, and that was to write down a list of cat toys. This is all this is, okay? In the first example, cats are affectionate. We had a list of actions. We had a list of reactions. In the second example, we have a list of nouns. We have a list of toys, things, balls, feathers, string. And in the second sentence, they especially enjoy playing when their owners are participating in the game. This is all true. Anybody that knows cats or has even seen a cat will know cats love balls and feathers and string, and they love to play with people. So again, this writer has done a good job thinking of the specific examples that they would need to prove that what they're saying is right. Cats are playful. I've seen them play with balls. I've seen them play with feathers. I've seen them play with string. So this is an excellent way to continue. Okay, so let's look at the third supporting detail. Contrary to popular opinions, cats can be trained. I think this is true to some extent. Using rewards and punishments, just like with a dog, a cat can be trained to avoid unwanted behavior or perform tricks. Cats will even fetch. My cat, when she was a kitty, loved to play with paper balls. I would roll a piece of paper up into a ball and throw it, and she would bring it back. Now she's old. She doesn't want to play like that anymore usually. But we do still play sometimes. Sometimes I chase her around the house. She pee-pees and poo-poos in her litter box, and she always did that. She kind of trained herself to do that. She's a good kitty. But there's certain things my cat knows she cannot do. For one thing, I don't let her get on the table while I'm eating. If there's food on the table, she knows she can't come up there. Sometimes she tries, but I say, get down out of there, and she jumps down. Cats will even fetch. This is an even more specific example. So you can see here these supporting sentences followed by one or two or three detailed examples sentences. Okay, so this is the construction of this. There's one other type of sentences that are found in many paragraphs, concluding sentences. What are they? It's the last sentence of the paragraph. It tells the reader the paragraph is finished. and it offers a logical conclusion. It restates the topic sentence in a different way, or it offers a suggestion, gives an opinion, makes a prediction. We'll talk more about concluding sentences in the future. Our paragraph doesn't have one. So sometimes it's not necessary, but we could think of a concluding sentence. We would want to mention the main idea and the controlling idea from the topic sentence again. So we might say something like, "It's easy to see that cats are good companions," or something very simple like that. Okay? The main idea and the controlling idea restated in some way is a good way to write a concluding sentence. This particular paragraph just happens not to have one, and that's okay. Moving on here. What are the 4 features of a well-written paragraph? A paragraph has a topic sentence that states the main idea and the controlling idea. We've talked a lot about topic sentences. We're going to practice more writing those in the near future. All of the sentences are about one topic. If you only remember one thing from this lecture today, please remember this. Every sentence in the paragraph has an important job to do. If a sentence is not doing what it needs to do, you need to get rid of the sentence. Every part of every sentence, every word of every sentence needs to be doing an important job. When we look at how these paragraphs are set up, we can see this paragraph has 11 sentences. Every sentence is doing an important job. The topic sentence says cats make good companions. This paragraph is going to be about companionship. It states the main idea, reminding us from the thesis statement and from the title of the essay that this is an essay about cats. It's not about dogs, it's not about monkeys, it's not about hippopotamuses, it's about cats. So we're going to restate the main idea, which is cats. We're going to say what we're going to say. Cats offer companionship to people. That's topic sentence, our sentence number 1. Sentence number 2 states cats are affectionate. Very simple, right? And then sentences 3 and 4 offer those good detailed examples. Snuggle, pet, scratch, purr, those action words that describe the way that cats show their affection to humans and humans show their affection for cats. Sentence 5, supporting idea number 2, playful. It says cats are playful. Sentence 6 and 7, detailed examples. Balls, feathers, string, the owners, cat toys. Giving us a list of nouns that tells us the cat toys that we can have, that cats can play with. Sentence 8, supporting idea number 3, cats are trainable. Detailed examples, unwanted behavior, tricks, cats can fetch. And then sentence 11, if we had one, would be the conclusion. And so this is a 11-sentence paragraph. This is what I would like for you to shoot for when you're writing your paragraph. 3 supporting ideas, each with 2 sentences of detailed examples. 2 or 3 is fine. 1 sometimes can be enough if you're going to put in a list, but I think 2 or 3 is usually better. And then a conclusion sentence. So that's sentence 1, sentence 2, sentence 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You can do this, okay? Every sentence in the paragraph needs to be doing an important job. It's no accident that the paragraph contains the information that it does. It's all part of the purpose to prove that what we are saying is true. Always remember that when you're writing. Paragraph format. We indent the first line of the paragraph and then we keep typing until the paragraph is finished. We don't hit return. We don't hit enter until we've written all of our paragraph, and then we hit the tab button, indent again, and begin writing our second paragraph. This is an indentation. Don't forget to do that. We're going to talk a little bit more about format when we come to writing your first paragraph next week. The last sentence or concluding sentence brings the paragraph to a logical conclusion. This is a picture of Dulu Jigi. This has nothing to do with the lecture. I just like Dulu Jigi. Okay, it's time for your first writing assignment. Busan is a great place to live. I'm going to give you the topic sentence for your first student assignment. That is the topic sentence. The main idea, Busan. We're going to be writing about the city that we live in. The controlling idea, what are we going to say about Busan? Busan is a great place to live. Simple. Okay? So I would like for you, for your homework this week, to create a brainstorming chart talking about reasons why and examples of those reasons. Why is Busan a great place to live? Why is Busan a great place to live? I can just give you a sample example. I could say food. There's a lot of great food here, and I could think of some examples of some food that is unique to Busan and that's very delicious and even famous. So before we go on here to the homework, rest of the homework assignment, I'd like to spend a few minutes talking about what is a brainstorm? What is this? After we've built our topic sentence by combining a main idea and a controlling idea, we need to think about our topic and generate and organize ideas. Brainstorming helps us do that. The way that we brainstorm is we eliminate all distractions, we put our paper in front of us, and we just try to write down as many ideas as we can as quickly as possible. So let's look at some examples of some brainstorms here. Here's a handwritten brainstorm. Health. What are some important things to help maintain our health? Good sleep. To manage our stress effectively. Exercise, help, and diet. So you can see they've got 5 supporting ideas here, and they've thought of some examples. So for diet, for example, it's important to eat enough vitamins, fruits and vegetables, to eat a low-fat diet. Probably put in there, don't eat too much sugar. Exercise. Talk about different ways to exercise. You should warm up carefully by stretching first. You need to do aerobic exercise, or what we call cardio, cycling or working out at the gym. Stress can have a lot of causes, exams, work, relationships. There are some solutions. Yoga, meditation. You can set some goals, do some exercise, avoid smoking, alcohol, or drinking too much caffeine. The effects of stress, insomnia, or ill health. You can see that section there on stress has gotten so big that it could almost be a paragraph itself. That's probably an example of when you would need to split something into 2 different paragraphs. Maybe have one paragraph about stress by itself. You've certainly got enough information there, and it's an important enough topic. So, moving on, sometimes you can use pictures, things that hang. There are computer programs that allows you to create simple or complex brainstorms. I wouldn't recommend doing this unless you were really working on a big project where you needed to probably not use it's probably just as easy to use a piece of paper and a pencil than to create a detailed computerized brainstorm using some special software, although there is special software on the website, and I'll show you where that is. Clothing. Organizing things according to dresses and skirts, shoes, accessories, coats and jackets, underwear, shirts and jumpers, sleeping, trousers and jeans. These are just some different ways that we can organize information into specific groups. And so what I would like for you to do is create a brainstorm using this type of topic thing. I'd like you to have at least 6 supporting ideas, plus I would like for you to have 3 or 4, you don't have to have 6 examples like on this paper, but at least 3 or 4 examples, detailed examples under each, okay? So, for your homework, I would like for you to create a brainstorm for the topic sentence. Busan is a great place to live. So just on a piece of paper, if you want, you can print out the brainstorm worksheet that I showed you on the website. But if you want, you can just use a pencil and draw circles and write words in there yourself. That's fine too. I would like for you to create a subfolder in your Google Drive class folder called Writing Assignment Number 1 Busan. So go to your Google Drive here. I've got my sample Google Drive folder. It's in my drive here. I showed you how to create this yesterday. You should all have done this by now. Make sure that you share it with me. If you click on this little arrow, down arrow right here, you can click share. You can share it with joeteacher.donga@gmail.com if you haven't already done that. That'll share the entire folder and its contents with me. So what I would like for you to do next is go up here to New, click on Folder, and our first folder is going to be called Writing Assignment Number 1. Busan. Just like that. Okay? This will create a folder. Inside of this folder, I would like for you to add a file. Now, I will say this, it's possible to create to download the Google Drive app onto your phone. I would recommend that you do that, log in, and then you can take a picture of your brainstorm with your phone, and you can just add it easily to your Google Drive folder. Just kind of, click the export button and you can export it right into your Google Drive folders. So it'd probably be easier to use the phone app to do this part of it. It's probably easier to use the computer to create your folders and manage your folders. But you can also do that on your phone. So by Sunday night, I would like to see your folder shared with me. I'd like to see your folder inside of your folder for your Busan writing assignment number 1. I've got the hiccups. Inside of this folder, I want to see a photo of your brainstorm activity. Okay? I hope that's clear. If it's not clear, send me a message. Take a photo of your brainstorm and upload it to your writing assignment number 1 Busan folder. Also, I would like you to share your brainstorm with your work group on Kakao Talk and discuss your ideas. Did you think of some similar ideas? Did you think of some unique ideas? Did you organize your ideas differently? So I would really like you to work together throughout this class, and the first chance you're going to have is this week to share your ideas. What did you come up with for your brainstorm? And how did you organize your ideas? Did you have a difficulty doing this? Was it easy? Was it difficult? And by the way, maybe you think Busan is a horrible place to live. That's fine. You don't have to believe what you're writing. You just have to write it. Okay? And a lot of times I've written things that I disagreed with. So this is the homework for this week. I hope that you were able to listen carefully. I hope that you were able to understand the basic functions of each of the sentences in the body paragraph. Going forward, we're going to learn different types of paragraphs. Some of them are going to be a little bit different from this. But if you can understand how to write a body paragraph, then you can write an essay. And if you can write an essay, you can write a chapter in a book. And if you can write a chapter in a book, you can write a book. So really, this is the fundamental building block of writing, especially writing longer pieces. Okay? What are we learning to do here? I think it's always important, and I just want to say it one more time before I go. We're learning to convince other people that what we are saying is true. You might think this is difficult, but you already know how to do this. Every time you ask your mother for money and she says why, you've already thought of the reasons why she should give you that money. If you want a new computer to play uh, Kill the Dragon like everybody's playing here in the PC bong, you're not going to tell your mom, hey mom, I want a new computer so I can play Kill the Dragon. No, you're going to say, Mom, I need a new computer so I can do my homework, so I can get an A in school. You know what other people are going to respond to. You know what is going to motivate your mother to give you the money to buy a new computer. And it's not Kill the Dragon. It's A plus. So you can work on that and in that way. You already know how to do these things. So as I said in the beginning of this lecture, this is not really a writing class. This is really a thinking class. Use your imagination. Use your mind to come up with the specific examples that you need to prove that what you're saying is true. Okay, let me look back here and see if there's anything that I've forgotten. Oh, I wanted to show you there are the mind mapping, 2 mind mapping websites here if you want to try those. I don't recommend necessarily for this project, but if you need to do big mind maps that have using various software forms, you do have that. I did put the Open Office link up here. I'm going to try to remember to put it up on my website too. I want to thank you for your patience as we go through this process. I'm really learning a lot about how to do these presentations. It's been quite a challenge for me, and just to try to figure out the nuts and bolts and the mechanics of doing it. I know this isn't optimal. It's not the way that I like to teach, and I'm sure it's not easy for you either. I really appreciate your patience with me going forward. Also, I'd like to say that this class is probably going to be a little bit more work than some of your other classes. I don't know any other way to teach how to write other than to write. So as we go through this, please keep in mind that this really is important stuff. What we're doing here is going to translate into your future success. When we talk to people who are applying for jobs, again and again and again, I hear companies say the number one thing they are looking for is people who can communicate in English well. And so written communication skills continue to be at the top tier of skills that our companies are looking for. The ability to write well in English will translate into success. It will translate into money. It will translate into freedom. It will translate into ease when you're traveling, assuming we ever get to travel again in the age of coronavirus. So always keep in mind that the hard work that you put into this is going to pay off. I guarantee it. This is really going to be important for your future, and it's going to be valuable to you in the future too. So thank you for listening. Thank you for the hard work that you're already putting into this, and I look forward to seeing your brainstorms on Kakao Talk and seeing your files in Google Drive this week. So don't forget to add me to your Kakao Talk and to your Google Drive folders. All right, have a great weekend. I'll see you next week.